Hey, it's JC1424 once again with another album review, and today we're going to be talking about the new album from AFI, otherwise known as A Fire Inside, and that is Bodies. I don't even know what number album this is from him at this point, but they've been going on almost as long as Green Day. So, how did I discover AFI? Probably the same way that you did without even knowing it, because there was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 with The Boy Who Destroyed the World back in their punk days. Then there was Madden NFL 07, which had Summer Shudder. Then there was Guitar Hero 3 with Miss Murder, which was their most popular song to date back in their emo days. And then there was finally NASCAR 9, which had Ether. So you've probably played the NASCAR game, the football game, or the skating game, and a bunch of other video game soundtracks. It goes hand in hand with Rise Against and all the soundtracks that they were in, which we'll talk about again in a bit. But obviously I went somewhere from there. I went to a public library one day with my mom back when I was getting my CDs and listening to my music that way, and I stumbled upon the 2013 album from AFI, Burials. It was kind of in my opinion, but there were a few songs that really stuck out to me, like 17 Crimes, I think the lead single for that album, The Embrace, and A Deep Slow Panic. Fast forward to 2017, they released the Blood album, I guess that's what it was called. It's red with little blood droplets on it and everything. And overall, I feel like it was a better project, more consistent. It dwelled better with me, but there weren't songs that stuck out the way it did with Burials, in my opinion. I like those specific songs from Burials more than I did that entire Blood album. So, let's get into Bodies. That's what the fuck? Anyways, track 1, Twisted Tongues. One of the 7 singles that this album spawned, which is stupid, that's just spoiling the shit. It's interesting how this is a song about going backwards in faith, and the lyrics, ironically, make more sense in reverse than they do forward if you read them. The drums in the riff make this sound like the perfect storm, and then every time the sound opens up for the chorus to burst in, it has this relaxation of tempo. They have the guitar down to a T, and the way it leads in some places is just enchanting. The second song on this album is Far Too Near. Cool. Wordplay. Awesome. Already significantly simplistic in structure compared to the previous song that we just heard. It's all standard punk about pushing away someone that you love because you know that it just won't work. There's a neat guitar lead-in for the outro, but Davey Havok just doesn't add much to the verses here, although the chorus is sweet. Song number 3 is Stole Syria, which I believe translates to candy shop in Spanish, I think. I looked it up at some point because I had no idea what the hell I was reading. But it's got a killer Western disco bass line that's already better than anything Royal Blood tried on their new album Typhoons. But at the same time, that's all this song has going for it. I'm tired by this mellow vibe. The verses are smooth, but the chorus and bridge are kind of pitchy, and even the organ feels flat. But it warns us of getting addicted to stuff like porn, cocaine, or in my case, caffeine. But I work overnight. I gotta do what I gotta do. Track 4, On Your Back. This song isn't bad, just unimpressive and boring to me as it wears out its drummed up tempo. Davey Havok provides a dry vocal performance start to finish, and the reverb on it isn't exactly helping either, in my opinion. There is a piano, and it helps make this somewhat delicate, while the bass and guitar underneath it are all like, hey, this is punk, right? And it's about hopeless love or whatever, but it doesn't really matter because I just find this song so skippable. Track 5, Escape from Los Angeles. Thank goodness. The first 4 songs kill this album, in my opinion. This one is oddly specific, but it's about feeling trapped in a paradise that you aren't even happy in. And you gotta hide that from all the plastic people, at least until you get out of there. But Davey puts his vocals to use and really letting it out in volume and melodic phrasing. There's such a boopy and clacky electronic background with this cute ring to it, if you ask me. The guitar tone is eloquent through the solo and the bridge section, and the tambourine just nails the entrance within that. The 6th song on this album is Begging for Trouble, and it's a lighthearted REM-esque song that is like an 8 out of 10 within the album, but otherwise a 9 out of 10 all on its own. And it's totally about a girl being so in love that she's a damsel in distress, almost by choice. I listen to a lot of Rise Against because they've been my favorite band for 8, 9 years now. And this gives me the vibes of something like the Angel or Paper Wings from their earlier years, 15 years ago now. And this just has the guitar etiquette of AFI, which cuts off really good at the end, I gotta mention that. But with an adorable bass line and violin section.
In the nights, as you struggle, you wait for me.
Track 7, Back from the Flesh. What a mystical piece of music. Uniqueness nearly forced, but I welcome the experimentation. I personally find this song religiously enticing, and it's mesmerizing with its chanted melodies, the ominous violin and guitar follow-ups throughout, and the patiently distributed tambourine and drums, too. It feels like a cover of an amazing song. It's not actually made by them, and they're doing a version, and it's kind of less than the original. I guess just because sonically it doesn't quite reach its potential, in my opinion. They could have extended some of these melodies into an awesome guitar solo to end the song. They could have had a little more chord in there or something. Ah, yes, the 8th song on here, Looking Tragic. The flashy, high-energy radio rock lead single. I'm not blown away by it, but I'll give them this. It is pretty damn catchy. It sounds a ton like Burn It Down by Skillet or Money Bot by Nickelback. And it's strange that I mentioned either of those because those are both deep cuts that no one will even remember, even if they heard the albums. But with some kinky bass and guitar work, it goes on about the edge of disaster, inherently causing enough anxiety to be disaster. Song number 9, Death of the Party, as opposed to Life of the Party, obviously. What in the name of percussion is the fuckery with the pots and the pans, or something I'm hearing here? It caught my attention with that, but then immediately killed it off with this monotone junk that goes nowhere. Davey really beats a dead horse trying to sound like Depeche Mode, if you ask me. And I don't know how to feel about the accidental notes from the bass as they go through the bridge. Duh, they worked better in track 7, but this ain't it. The second to last song, track 10, is No Eyes, and they really make you wait for this next punk rock track with them power chords. It's been 3 or 4 songs since we got a punk rock song, and that's what AFI was most known for. These days it seems to be becoming more and more scarce. I have a hard time deciding whether this or Begging for Trouble is superior, just because this comes before Death of the Party, and that sucks, so anything that comes after it that's better is going to sound amazing. And then Begging for Trouble comes after Escape from Los Angeles, and that's one of my favorite songs on the album. Not only do I prefer Davey's higher voice, with the echoey post-chorus here, it's great, but dynamic is often a big deal in music. I mean, it is for me. And this is, a Love is Blind song playing into the bittersweetness of the friend zone or flings. The 11th and final song on this album is Tied to a Tree. At first, I'm like, whoa, spooky. And then I'm like, ooh, pretty. I remember hearing the song Tired after work in my car, and it's a long drive back, so I put the album on, and by the time the album was ending, and I'm pulling into the driveway, I turn off the car and I lie back in my seat, already in a submissive state. It's just peacefully psychedelic and almost hypnotic in a sense. Just because, I'm ready to pass out, but I can't fall asleep because this is just something else. And I hadn't heard it that way. So, I'm not the kind of guy that does all that drug, getting high shit, listening to music, with my third eye, but you people that do that, I recommended this song for sure. And it very much empathizes with someone who's in their darkest moments, and not to force them out, but to join them so that they're not alone in that darkness. And it's both dark and wholesome. It's a very interesting feeling. It's nothing like that emo pop punk shit, Welcome to the Black Parade. Nah, this is completely different from that. And there's a clear level of progression and acoustics and percussion from chorus to chorus, and the gorgeous galactic sounds, for lack of better phrasing, they just make me melt. So yeah, this is my favorite song on the album. One of my favorite AFI songs ever now, and definitely one of my favorite songs of the year too. But my final score for the new AFI album, Bodies, released on June 11th, 2021, is an 80%, which is a solid C, not a C- or C+, but I think without this song, it's almost a D, just because the first 4 songs, they kill me, man. And then you got the next 4 songs after that, 5, 6, 7, and 8, they're all pretty damn good. We have one song in the back half that, I don't like that much. But there's just so much early on, and I'm immediately turned off. And that can really hurt an album whenever, as soon as you turn it on, you don't even enjoy it for 15 minutes. You can get better car insurance doing that. I would definitely rather listen to the Blood album over this. I'm not sure if I like this more than Burials as a whole, just because I haven't heard that one since like the first 3 or 4 times I heard it whenever I got it in 2013. I don't actually own it. I just checked it out from a frickin' public library. But see you next time. That's that, and album review over.